In this video, I'm going to share a current energy update and how the incoming light codes are impacting our physical body, our mental and emotional body, and how we are being impacted, what might be coming up for us at this time, how this is being processed within us. Now, a couple of days ago, we had the new moon in Scorpio, and the energy, some of us were feeling it before it even happened. So the Scorpio energy has been here since the 23rd of October for Scorpio season. So the sun is in Scorpio, and Scorpio is a very intense, passionate, driven energy. And Scorpio works to uncover what is hidden. So this can be the hidden mysteries, the hidden teachings, the hidden talents and passions that we have. It can also be the hidden parts of our shadow that we have not yet been conscious of. So for some of us, this could be a time where we're experiencing it as a very intense purge, where our physical body may be purging, and we don't exactly know what is going on, yet we're feeling it all very much on a physical level. So we could have physical aches and pains in the body. There could be like sinus infection, a cold, respiratory. Like I've seen many around me having these experiences of the physical purge happening within the body. And there's also aspects of this too where, and the beauty of this, I just want to finish on that note, is that when the body is physically purging aspects of the shadow, we are moving beyond that state where we have to analyze it, or not have to, but we used to. This is the way we worked out things. We went to therapy, we talked it out, and by talking it out, it doesn't really resolve it. It feels good to release it and to have someone to speak to, but we need to move the energy. We literally need to move that stagnation in order for any kind of change or shift to occur on a conscious level. So the purge of the physical body and having any of these physical symptoms, having, any kind of sickness or illness, or, even feeling exhausted and depleted, like these can also be aspects of it where we need extra rest. This purge is helping us to move through the shadow without actually having to sit with it on a mental level or on an emotional level. The physical body is actually transmuting it, releasing it. So we may not be having those other aspects where we're having situations around us causing triggers, causing, us to go into some kind of old story. So the sickness itself may be releasing and purging it out of our system. Now, on another level, what can be happening is it's like our brain is being lit up, basically. We are using more of our brain, more of our cognitive abilities. I know back in the day when I went to school, we were taught we only use 10% of our brain, and we have the capability of bringing everything online. And as these energetic higher frequencies, these light codes come in to our physical body and we are being upgraded, more of our brain cells and our entire cellular structure is coming online. So we are literally becoming an antenna to receive information. And so we are continuously receiving information and data, whether or not we are aware of it. So for those of us who have daily practices that create that space within us, I've spoken about this again and again, having a daily meditation practice is going to allow that space to be present in our body so that we can actually translate the messages and the downloads that come through. And we may receive visions, we may receive impressions, we may receive a feeling or a sense or words of guidance. And so that is the beauty of having this open space this clear vessel so that we can receive. And if you're not aware of the downloads and everything that is coming through, it's happening. It's happening whether you're aware of it or not. We are all ascending at our own pace. We are all evolving up the spiral of consciousness. And this is what occurs, right? It's this movement of the spiral, and we have our lessons and we keep reaching higher vantage points. And a lot of us are having the experience of old traumas showing up in our life, or challenges, if you don't want to take it to the extreme of a trauma. But say you have a situation where in the past you would hear news about something and completely freak out. And then you receive this news again and you're like, okay, that's fine. It'll come in another way, right? It's like we get this opportunity where we're being confronted with past similar experiences from our past. And we are noticing, wow, I have changed. I'm not reacting anymore. I'm completely okay with it. And it really is this deeper state of surrender and trust and faith in the divine plan. And as we continuously receive these light codes, which the information, the codes, the downloads, they're coming in every day. And what is occurring actually is that they come in and then there's a big blast. And then they come in and there's another big blast, right? So there are times of, the day and during the year that there's going to be bigger blasts. And we just received another huge blast of light frequency right around the Scorpio new moon. So the Scorpio new moon, which was 2 days ago, I'm losing track of time. And yes, it was 2 days ago. And so even yesterday, it was that day and yesterday, amplified energy. And today has been like the processing of that energy. So what I've been experiencing is this heightened bliss state, because I feel like the cellular structure is lit up and turned on within me. And I know that I've had these conversations with some of my soul family, and we're having the same experience of feeling stretched. And it's like we're being expanded and stretched beyond what we ever thought was possible. It's like beyond the comfort zone, and we're already beyond the comfort zone, and yet the discomfort isn't exactly there. It's like we're moving, we're stretching, we're beyond it, and it's like, okay, now what? And it's like that deep surrender of handing it over to the universe, God, Goddess. What would you have me do? What is next? You guide me. I am here to receive what is next. And of course, there is the co-creation. Of course, it requires to take action. We also are part of that creation, that we don't just sit back and say, okay. It's like when people want to manifest, right? And they're calling in something and they want abundance. And they're like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep meditating and I'm going to sit back. I'm just going to wait for it to happen because I'm aligning my frequency and I believe it's going to happen. And yet there's not any action steps towards that. So it's necessary that we utilize both energies, the receptive and the active, and allow it to be this dance within us. And when we can get into a state of coherence within the heart and the head, the brain and the heart working coherently and harmoniously together, we are able to move and pause. move and rest, move and relax. And it becomes this dance and this flow of energy. And everything is energy. So when we can get to that greater awareness of energetics and feel the energy around us, it's easier to maintain that state of flow. And I know I talk often about the flow within the structure. The structure is the masculine energy, the movement energy. And then the flow is the spontaneity, the feminine, the more fluid like energy, right? So we have these aspects within the self that are always at play. And a lot of the time we sway in one direction. It's like the pendulum, one way more than the other, right? And so we're maybe a little more masculine dominated in our energy, or a little more feminine dominated in our energy. And so finding that balance, which will always be a fluid like dance, it's not going to stop and be stationary or stagnant. It's going to continue to flow. So when we can be more aware of those energies within us, we are able to actually tune into what we need on a deeper level. And so this blast of light that just came in, this information download, has been filled with gifts, divine gifts, turning your talents, your abilities online. You may now be connecting in with your guides. You may now be hearing the voice of your intuition, or the voice of your spirit guides, or the voice of other people's spirit guides as you're communicating with them. You may start to see energy. You might see someone come in a room or meet someone for the first time and have a total sense and inner knowing and feeling about them. And you may know way more about them in that one moment from their energy than you'll ever know from them speaking to you. And we all have these gifts. We all have these abilities, these psychic senses. What has actually occurred from childhood up until wherever you are now in your age is that there's been so much programming in the world. There's been so much operation from the mind that we have forgotten. And we are in the time of remembrance now. And so as we remember our abilities and our gifts, it truly is pulling in those soul fragments to wholeness, pulling everything online. And if you take that word remember, it's you're remembering yourself back into wholeness. It's like all the fragments are there and we're coming all together. It's a very powerful time right now, very potent. And it is the best thing that you can do for yourself is to be gentle, be aware of what is happening, be mindful. If you are continuously caught up in moving, going, hustling, and not allowing yourself the space to pause, to relax, to breathe, to feel, there will be that sense of burnout. There will be that sense of you may run yourself down, and there may be the body's response to that as stopping you. This has happened so many times in my life where I have pushed beyond my limits. And by pushed, I mean there's a force behind it. There's an internal pressure and a force. And I start burning the candle at both ends. And I'm like, but just one more thing. I'm almost done. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. And it's like, it's a conditioning. And suddenly I'm run down and I'm burnt out. And then I get sick. And then the next day I'm spending in bed. And it's all here to teach us these lessons of how we can maintain and sustain our energy and be able to output in a relaxed manner without the pressure, without the push, without the force, without burning those candles at both ends, right? And then there's nothing left to give. And so if this is you, if you're experiencing this burnout or this feeling, it is an invitation to tune in to your body, breathe, feel, rest when you need to, nourish yourself in whatever way you need to. And the other aspect that comes in with this is this stretching that I talked about, that some of us are experiencing beyond our comfort zone and we're ready for it. Some of us that are in this state are having this experience that we are on all the time. I know I've been experiencing this, and it's taking it to the next level. It's really territory I've never been in this lifetime. However, I know I've been here before because it feels like a homecoming. It feels like the truth of potentiality. And what is happening is that I'm having these nights where there's multiple nights in a row where, again, I can't sleep. And I can sleep. I have tools. I have a Healy frequency device. Am I using it? I'm not. However, last night I finally did use it and I fell asleep. The point is, I have had this experience of staying up till 2, multiple nights in a row. And it was a choice. It was a choice because I was lit up, my energy was on, and I wasn't tired yet. And so what is happening is, as my energetic frequency is upgrading within me, I have more energy, more sustainable energy. And it's allowing me to be on. And what I notice, maybe you can relate if this is you, is that I'll have a wave of tiredness, and it comes for a very short amount of time, and then another burst of energy. But that wave of tiredness is a message. And so when I get that message, when I feel that internally, I stop. I pause, I breathe. And I feel into what do I need next? Not next, but now, which is next. So that is the practice that I've been utilizing, and it's helped me to continuously output. And it's been a very powerful time for these upgrades. So if you're feeling a lot, this could also be an aspect of that. So the brain is turned on. So this is where I said the light is turning on in our brain, and we're waking up to all that cognitive potentiality that we have. And so this can disturb our sleeping patterns as we adjust to the higher frequency. And then on an emotional level, we may also feel a lot. We may feel a lot from the collective, or we may be feeling things internally. I'll share my experience of what has been happening. I have been feeling this overwhelming, it's like this overwhelming feeling, and overwhelming sounds almost on the verge of being more of a tearful, sad emotion. And it's not for me. What I'm experiencing, I'm going to use the word overwhelming again, but it's overwhelming bliss, overwhelming joy, overwhelming ecstasy in my body. It's like the cells within me are dancing, and I feel lit up. It's the only way. I feel lit up, and my energy feels so high, and I have these moments where I just start tearing up. And I cry, and a burst of tears comes out really, and it's even happening as I'm talking about it, because I'm tuning into like what that feels like, because it's been happening again and again and again. And this is part of the awakening process. It's that I'm crying and I don't even know why I'm crying. You know, I've had that in the past, and now really being aware of internally what goes on within me. I know in that moment that I'm crying because I am coming back home. It is our divine birthright to be in a bliss state. And up until now, we have not been able to hold and maintain that higher frequency in our being. And if you think about a baseline emotion, everyone's going to be in a different baseline emotion. And that's part of their structure in this moment. And it will change and shift. It could change and shift from moment to moment, throughout the day, from day to day. You know, it can shift all the time, that baseline emotion. And it's showing us this potentiality that bliss can now be that baseline emotion. And that doesn't mean that we'll be crying all the time because it's like, ooh, bliss. No, as we allow ourselves to feel this joyful state, this expressive state, we start to integrate it more. We start to process it more. We start to become familiar with it as we allow ourselves to fully feel it, fully allow it in. It's very similar to repressing emotions. So, you know, say you lost a loved one and you felt like crying and you didn't want to cry, or you didn't allow yourself to cry. Now, those emotions have been repressed. And a lot of the time we hold grief around the heart, and it creates these walls that, it's like that feeling of being frozen. So it's like these frozen walls. And it's like, to melt that ice allows the tears to flow. It allows us to release. And then as we release, those walls release. And then we are open to love. We are open to give and receive love. And we are open to feel more every time we let those tears out. So it's the same thing if we were to resist this bliss state, which is now coming in to the collective as a frequency that is available to us, as an emotional, energetic state that we are able to maintain within. If we were to resist that, we would have more work to do, more processing to do, and it would take a little longer to come back into that state of allowing again. And so the invitation is to relax into it. Relax into the feeling. Enjoy it. Feel the pleasure of it. Feel whatever is coming through you. And whatever the emotion is, this is my personal experience with bliss and feeling joy. And a lot of it is, you know, where I'm at in my life, what I've been doing in my world, you know, both on a personal level, on an energetic level, on a career level, really stepping into being the receptive principle so that I can step forward each time I am led by my intuition, led by spirit. This for me has been the year of surrender to spirit. And it has allowed me to come into the state of bliss and receive this frequency of bliss because I'm handing it over to God. I'm like, this is it. I'm handing it over. It's not up to me. It is not up to me. I am a channel. I am a divine download. I am an expression of the Creator. All that was required was that I got out of my own way, and it took me a long time to get out of my own way. And it doesn't take that long anymore. The light codes that are coming into the planet now are lighting so many beings up. There is so much awakening happening on the planet right now. It is absolutely beautiful. And when we can focus in on the internal and work on whatever is there for us to work on, meaning feel to heal, reveal what is inside, allow it to be, so that we can be in each moment as a fresh moment and not holding on to the baggage of the past, we free ourselves from those chains that have bound us to all past paradigms, to the old structure, to the old age. And this is the time that we move into the age of light, the age that is here to bring us home. And so it is truly, as I said before, this internal job. As we work on our own inner self, as we do this work, this shadow work, this light work, this integration work, we are helping to heal the entire planet by healing within. It becomes that ripple effect. And the 144,000 beings that are stepping into this frequency now will be the lighthouse, will be the shift in the collective paradigm. And then more and more and more of us will be lighting up around these lighthouse beings. And so this is a call. This is a call to you if you feel that this is you, if you feel that you are here to do this work. The world needs you now. It is the time. It is the time of great awakening. It is the time that we are creating this stable foundation and this power amplification of light of the new earth. And thank you so much for joining me in this energy update. I know I was unpacking a lot. I felt like I went in so many different directions. So I appreciate so much you being here with me. And thank you for your light. Thank you for your presence. Remember to subscribe to my channel for more content like this, more updates, more meditations. And I'm sending you so much love and infinite blessings.